Melbourne Art Gallery, they put 3 bananas on.
With the tape?
Yeah, with the
Famous,
tape.
yeah.
Just, I said, what's that for?
What did it make you? Did it make you think? It made you question. That's the purpose.
That's art. And
Yeah, but that's the purpose. It made you question, why is this art? Who is the artist? Why is it here? What is it meant to make me think? What is it actually made from? Yeah, that's the question. Art is not an answer. Used to sing it. Let's drink a drink to Lily the pink, the pink, the pink.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty girl.
It's quiet too.
Yeah, they're really affectionate.
I can see her like
really intelligent and really weird. Perfect for me.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
I prefer to call you Sandra. I think
Cassandra.
Yeah. Okay, Cassandra. Yeah, thank you for accept the interview. It's a good opportunity for us to discuss about art industry and also some like arts pathway, career pathway things, and even more about art things in Australia. So we just have a relaxed talk about everything about yourself and the industry, and also my questions about the international students in art.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about that. This is my favourite subject.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we just have some like art students. They have some concerns, so that's why I'm quite interested in the art industry. So what's the career pathway for the current students? Because there's so many of them like worried about what's their later career and how can they financially support themselves when after they graduate from the art major. And is there anything they can think about or they can put in their mind to benefit their later long life career and also their own like satisfaction about their selves?
Well, the first thing I think I will say, I'll say to any student from anywhere, is that talent is this much. There's a very small percentage. Yeah. If you think you're very, very talented, please also be very, very nice, very helpful, very professional, and very, very dedicated to your practice. Remember that it's a lifelong learning path. I think that when, for example, for me working with galleries and exhibitions, when I'm offering work for sale, what I'm looking for is someone that I can tell collectors or galleries or anyone else who's interested in the work that this is a safe investment. And it's an investment because I believe that this person is going to be constant and professional for their life. So this idea that artists are all crazy, no, it's a serious profession. And it's people who shine are the people who are the whole package. They're great to work with, they're intelligent, they're hardworking and dedicated, and they're talented. So I think that's the get it in your head that you have to apply yourself to everything. You can't just be good. You have to be good at everything. Yeah. So I also think that it's very, very important for people to understand in that sense that you don't just learn how to make art. Making art is a very isolated process, but this is an entire industry. You're surrounded by writers and curators and collectors and gallerists and people who run the events and everything else. Get to know how all that stuff works. I work often with interns, and internships are the best way to learn how the industry itself works. So if you make a piece of work, do you understand how it's going to be handled, how it will be packaged, how that work will then be taken out of a box, and who's going, handled with white gloves and hung on the wall, and what's the best way to put the wires to hang it, or what's the best material to make it out of? All those things are considered by everyone else who is involved in the life of that work of art. So if you can get and work in do some volunteer work in a gallery or in a museum or in the public programs, all the events and artist talks and everything, or do some writing around art, it will help you understand the whole life of your work and the piece that you make, where it will go. And it helps you understand how to make your work, how appropriately your work will be received, yeah? How it will be handled, and what the longevity is in it, and what the value is, and how to keep the value in it. So I very often have young emerging artists come to me and show me their work, and I'll sit there and go, have you considered making this in a more archival material, for example? Have you considered, I know you're using this canvas because it's cheap, but you're better off doing one painting in really good quality canvas, investing, whip through your drawings and get your skills up, but make your works the best you can possibly make them. One of the things that people don't seem to understand too is documenting their work. Keeping really good records of your work. When you come in somewhere like this, into a gallery like this, I want to know, what have you sold before? Who have you sold it to? Those names and things, they're really important, because I'm going to go back to them and go, hey, I've got new work by this artist, I know you've collected them before. All those records and keeping those records are really important. I think maybe sometimes they don't teach you that at art school.
No.
And that's why I think it's very important to get involved with the industry that supports it, to get involved with the galleries, to get involved with the events coordinators, the writers, the public, all those people who are involved in different ways. Even the people the framer who stretches the framer 2 doors down here. He and I are talking to each other all the time, because we're always talking about how best to present the works that we're showing, the way you frame works. He was just in here before talking about how a very, very large, very, very heavy painting had to be framed and then crated, because it's got to be packed up and moved sometimes from country to country. So all those things also accompany the making of the art. It isn't just, I sit there, paint, and I never see it again. Someone buys it and I just keep painting. Not at all.
No.
The other thing is, when you are painting or making art of you are making a commentary on society. You're talking about our times and who we are. It's always very, very important, I think, to be informed about what people are doing, what life is about, because for me, I believe that artists are philosophers.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Because current, I think everyone talking about AI will taking jobs, and which kind of jobs won't be taken by AI? The first thing I thought is about creative art.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know, the first show I had in this space was by a young artist who I've been mentoring for a number of years, and she entered I talked to her about what she was doing. Said to her, your painting is very realistic, you've got a very, very traditional approach, but you need to be conceptual to be taken seriously. If you want to just make things and sell them, fine. But if you want to be in the museums, if you want to have major curated shows, if you want people to come and look at your work in that public sphere and have a say in who we are, then you have to be conceptual in your approach to your work. So she talked about, I talked about you doing portraits really well. Enter the portrait prize. So then we talked about, when you enter the portrait prize, choose your sitter very, very well, very carefully. Decide on the sort of person you want to portray and why. What does it tell you? What does it tell your audience about that person? So she chose a very prominent artist who was one of her teachers, her own mentors, and she painted her in front of a painting. And she won that $50,000 art prize, yeah. And then she spent the next 2 years, this is after art school, she graduated, she spent the next 2 years and the money on painting 6 really beautifully detailed oil paintings. 6 paintings in 2 years. And those paintings were all about realism, the tradition of painting and painting in that realistic style, and AI, and how the digital space is interfering with the life and the lifestyle and the relationships of her generation. So they're beautiful and really interesting works. And I think she's destined for great things. This is a conversation we need to have. And it's important to her, it's important to us.
Yeah, I think for currently we always have some learnings from the history. And so where we can see the history is from the history books, and we also see all these things from the art pieces. So that's why when you do some art piece, it's not only for the drawing, maybe some like other kind of features, or even for sewing pieces.
Well, we've got embroideries and textiles and things around the
walls.
Yeah,
I think even for all this, I found if you have some meaning of the current people and what they thought and what they fear and what they expect, and then this will become like lifelong things, and later they can be a history, evidence of the
That's
history.
right, we are history in the making.
Yes.
Yeah, and she very cleverly, very sensitively reflected on who she is, who we are becoming, and where we came from. And I think that's very, very important. It tells you exactly where we are or where she is right now. And it resonates with other people. And I think that's really, really important. This is also why I think when you're making art, you make it with great respect. You make the best piece you can with the best material you can afford, because it is important.
Because you have like go through all the, from your art degree, and also you have your career from artist and to the art gallery manager, and also currently as a director, and in the between you work in the university, in the art college. All these kind of experience make you have much more think about how this industry is and which kind of things we can improve, and also which kind of things the current art students they need to know, and how to think the things in their own way and make their goal can be the reality. I think it's about like the experience. So
I think the first thing is you have to validate their choice, because I don't think you choose art. I think art chooses you, right? It lands on you like lightning. Boom! This is what you're going to be. This kid that drew forever, drew on every single scrap of paper and got in trouble for drawing on their homework. That child is an artist in the making, and that's what they're going to do. The same as the talented musician and all those people who have this talent. Let them be who they're going to become. Foster and nurture it and validate it, because it's important. One thing I always say over and over again when I do a talk and whatever is, never since the beginning of time has any one human been reproduced. So every voice you hear when they're representing their thoughts, and this is a unique voice, and so it's valuable that we consider it and take it seriously and nurture it.
Yeah, it's very important. So how do you think you can, I found you have been in Singapore and in Indonesia, and these kind of places to perform your art career and for work in the art gallery and have some art pieces. So this kind of work you have done. So how do you find these opportunities, or which kind of things you think is?
I think in terms of them finding them, for me, it's been a lifelong thing. One of the things I have really clearly learned is when you step outside your own culture, you can see your culture.
Yeah.
You know, you look back and reflect and understand, oh, I have a culture. I think that's harder for Australians because we are so distant and removed and mixed up. We don't even know until we leave what our culture is. Yes, we have a culture. It's pretty funny, but it's there.
I think
it's mixed up and wild and woolly, but yeah, going to places where there's this sort of set of long-standing traditions, and it's really fascinating. You sit there and suddenly go, oh, I'm English, you know. I have these traditions, and we have Christmas pudding, you know. We make this Christmas pudding which is made from a recipe that used to once be a meat stew, you know, that was only ever done in winter. All these things have links back in time to history. I actually went last year with my family to Scotland and the UK and walked around castles, and I think even though I'd lived in England as a child, and I went and studied and worked there again as a young adult, for the first time I really felt, I think because I'd been and ventured into all these other cultures, I really felt a connection with my culture and my origins. I went to see my great-grandmother's house and the town, and I really felt, and then the castles and the, you know, all that stuff, I really felt a connection to that history, and for the first time owned my own culture. Well, I think what it makes you do is you come back and you reflect. You suddenly are able to, I mean, when an artist is making, what they're making from is themselves. It's a way to understand yourself. You really get a sense of who you are and what you have to offer. And I think, the easiest way to do that, the greatest education is travel.
Yeah, I think this means if the art industry, they should include some like more tools outside, like not only in the classroom.
Well, I've had the greatest pleasure in running international study tours and taking students and artists and things to Indonesia, to Singapore, to immerse them in different cultures and very carefully construct the way they experience those different cultures as well. Because I know how valuable it is. I know how worthy it is,
it's very good.
It really does help, And a lot of those students, I still see, and they still talk to me about how it enriched their knowledge and helped them along their journey and helped them to get a foothold in who they are and what they're doing and why they're doing it, which is fantastic. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's great. So I thought we have this kind of project. It's very good. So we can have, maybe this time we have some students, Australian students, go to Fuzhou to know their own art, but it's only part of China. They have some special things, and also have other parts of China. They have their own unique history and also art things. Even in China, we have like 56 like different like native groups. And so this means they have different clothes styles, art styles, and their culture. They are quite different, so we can explore more.
Absolutely. It's the same with Indonesia. Indonesia has 13,000 islands.
Wow.
And each island has separate sort of cultural practices. Their music is slightly different. All of the pattern in the batiks all has meaning, separate meaning, and they're all costume, everything. And even the religions and they're all slightly different, and that's what makes the world rich and interesting.
So it will take like quite a long time to know everything.
Oh, I don't think you'll ever know everything.
I think when they present with their things.
You find your little thing, the thing that interests you the most, and you burrow on down and dig it out and play with it, and that's what art is, you know. It's just going, hey, did you know this thing? You know, look at this thing. How about you look at this thing this way? And how about you look at it
the
this
other
way?
Yeah, I think for me, I always, like, when I saw something, I always think about why this come out, and so which kind of history make them to behave like this.
The context is everything. I always say that context is everything. And these are the things that people learn, you know, from each other. And exchange is incredibly important. As many different exchanges on as many different levels as possible. And in terms of your professional career as an artist, one of the things I would encourage any artist to do is travel, but also you can, once you've finished your degree, you go and do a residency, an international residency. I did one and it changed my life. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Thrown in the deep end, immersed in a different culture. Really, it really was a life-changing experience. For us, particularly for Australians, we all think that we've got to go back to England. Okay, I went back to England, I did the thing. But we are neighbours with Asia. We are in the Asia Pacific. And really, as I said, for artists, a third of the global art market is from China.
Yes.
You know, it's just a really good place to be making connections and working and advancing yourself and gaining knowledge that will indefinitely be, undoubtedly be useful in the future.
Yeah. Have you ever been like in contact with any like art, university, the art department? Have you in contact with them?
When I was working at the university, we had partnerships with China, and in fact, I just had a conversation with a politician from here who's working. Their sister city is a city in China, and he's working on bringing an exhibition over from there. Yeah, there's a lot of exchanges back and forth, and of course here, we in this city we have the Asia Pacific Triennial, which is the biggest. Our Gallery of Modern Art, Goma, is the biggest gallery in the country. Fantastic, and the focus is Asia Pacific, the works from the Asia Pacific. So every 3 years we have this incredible gathering of artists and writers and curators and directors that all come to Brisbane to celebrate the Asia Pacific Triennial, and there's a lot of work, fantastic Chinese work, and we've had some big exhibitions, big Chinese artists working here as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very good opportunity for all these art students. They go and they will have more ideas and know more about their life. Not only narrow down, think, oh, that's the way, but they have
I'm going to get a canvas, I'm going to paint, that's it. No. One out of your whole class is going to be that artist. The rest of you are going to be doing something else in that industry. If you're lucky, you will be a curator, or you'll be a writer, or you'll be an installer, or you'll be manage the public programs, or you'll be a collector, or you'll whatever it is in some way associated with it. If you venture out and learn more about the industry itself, it doesn't survive if there's just a painter. It has to be supported by all those other things. So go and be those other things as well and learn them.
Yes, I think there's some Chinese students. They are art students and they just go to some training program when they school holidays.
Yeah.
But I just found it's hard to choose. So there's so many of them. So which one? They ask me, so which one we can choose? So from the younger ones, ask me this question. Sometimes they are parents, they have kids, 6 years old, just want to do some drawing art, and so where they want to go, they can go, and so which one is suitable for them. So that's what they always ask me, and even some older students and 15 years old, they just ask, so which kind of art school or holiday program we can go, and is there any opportunity? So I just say, I don't know too much about this. So this not all this sports or music. We always see someone there and do the training, but for the art, we don't have too much idea. So is that because there are less art training, or just because we didn't go into this industry?
I think maybe because it's a very solitary thing. Most musicians collaborate. You have an orchestra, you have a band, you all work together.
Yes.
Artists work in solitary confinement. They're not very good collaborators. That's why you'll find a curator and an artist that if they can work together, they continue to work together. So you can work like this, merrily work away, doing your thing.
Yes.
But ultimately, your art is not meaningful until you do this. Until you just show it to someone else and share it and exchange it. And not just go, here you are, and walk away. Listen to the exchange, the feedback. Get what you are making what you think you make may not be what someone else sees, because we all see through different eyes, and we see through cultured eyes.
Yes.
So this is a very important thing, putting things up on the wall, showing them, discussing them. Yeah. That makes a big difference in how you evolve, because you're developing a voice. Like as you work as an artist, you refine your taste, yeah, and then you aspire to your taste, and then you refine your taste.
Yes.
and so on and so on throughout your whole life. Unless if you want to just stop and copy and keep going at the same level, that's fine, but I don't think most people do. I think most people really do want to keep exploring and pushing. So there's no defined pathway. Like if you're going to learn the violin, you're going to start with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and you're going to work your way up to Rachmaninoff.
Yeah.
There's a pathway and lessons, and there's grades and all the rest of it. It's not the same for art, because art also comes in so many different forms, and what we make every generation is new. So we're inventors as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you have to be very brave, and that's a good thing to be.
Yes, more like out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you also, when you become involved in the arts, you have to find your tribe. And your tribe is they're the people who are welcoming and accepting and understanding of who you are and what you do, what you're driven by and what you need to, there's a drive for artists. That kid that's sitting there drawing all day, they can't help it. No. They got to do it, and they got to keep doing it, and that continues all through life as well. And when you find people who are like that, artists band together and work together in their studios. They don't collaborate, but they like to be near each other, and they like to be. They don't sort of sit so well with accountants. Accountants are sitting there going, "Well, you've worked for this many hours. How much?" It's a whole different world.
Yes. Yeah. So I think if you want to do something like in the art, you have to think about your own unique way. Yes.
Yeah, you have to be able to find it. You have to have the confidence, and you have to have it helps when you have people who believe in you and you find a support network. Traveling like that in groups, it's great. It works really well. It helps you find you're all standing there together in awe of the same thing, learning the same thing, looking and acknowledging, you saw that too. Yeah. It's good. It's a good way to work.
Do you find your current lifestyle will be a little bit busy because you have art gallery?
Crazy busy.
Yes.
Way too busy. It's good though. So I'd rather do that than
do that. Yeah, because you are happy to do.
Because I'm motivated by it. Yeah. I'm definitely motivated by for me it's been a passion, a lifelong passion to work with art and work with artists and work in doing exactly this, talking to people about it and helping them accept and understand what it is for, why we do it. My job, since stopping being an artist and working as more a curator, I feel like the translator. So I work with artists and I explain to people why this work is relevant, how they've come from. Sometimes artists aren't that good at it. That's why you need
they need
layers,
someone. Yeah, it's more like a team, not only by yourself. Yeah, because not everyone be good at it.
No.
And you are very lucky. You can be the artist and also can do a manager, also be like a translator.
Yeah, sometimes that makes it hard to choose, but it's kind of my pathway chose me, same way, so. Yeah, opportunities present. I always say, go through the open doors. And that's what my life has been, going through the opportunities that present themselves. And sometimes doors close and things get hard. Listen to that sometimes and, shift perspective and, do what works.
Yeah. But you can quite enjoy that, so that's great. So, yes, because I think currently I heard so many young people, they just think life is boring and they just like think they are too busy, but they do nothing. So yeah.
Well, I
think,
have two sons who work in the creative industries.
yeah.
They are not bored. They work in different areas of the arts. One is a cinematographer, and he's successful. It's a great industry. He works really well. He's always working. It's lovely. The other one wanted to be a musician. The minute a guitar was put in his hands, he played the violin from the age of 5, but the minute the guitar went to his hands, he was a teenager, I couldn't get him to speak or think or talk about anything else. Right? That was it. So I knew that I had to drag him through high school and make sure he had a really fantastic music teacher, really good, and they had a band and they had an orchestra and they had, you know, people that taught them electric guitar and everything. And he went through that program, and I just said, all you have to do is finish. No one is going to care if you've got an A in the end. If you want to be a musician, just finish high school, please. And so then he went on to do a degree in contemporary music performance. And I remember I took him to the school, and I was at the school, and I sat him down. We're actually in the car park of the gallery, the Queensland Art Gallery, in the car park. It's nearby, sitting there. And I said to him, now you understand that if you're going to go into this career, you're never going to have a job, like a job where with a regular income and a salary like anyone else. You're always going to have ups and downs and back and forth, but you're going to have a great life.
Yes.
You're going to have a happy soul. But it's your choice. You've got to choose which one you want to do. And he was immediately, this is what I want to do. And he is now he's a professional musician. He also works in a music shop, like a high pro music shop. So he's talking to other musicians all the time, again, in the industry that supports him. So it's wonderful. And I remember when he was at school, the teachers or the other parents were really shocked when he chose all art subjects, all in the arts. He was doing drama, he was doing everything. And they were like, oh, aren't you worried? And I just looked at them and said, I'm thrilled. I couldn't be happier. I know I've got someone who's going to be following their dreams.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe they won't own the big mansion and have the big fancy cars. Maybe he will, but he'll be a happy person. He'll be a fulfilled person. I think that's really important. If someone has a drive to do that, it's really important. And people should be supporting them as much as possible. But you know, this is my big bias. I used to work in the most interesting job in the Australian Ballet, right? And my job was, I used to work with the designers. They'd come in the door with the drawings. My job was, I would go shopping and find the silks and the fabrics and everything else. I did all the art finishing on the costumes, and so when they had work experience students coming in to the production department, they would give them to me because my job was interesting and fun. And I would have student after student after student coming and go, oh, this is so fantastic, I love your job, I want to do this job. And I go, so do this job, do something like this. And they go, no, I can't. Why? My parents want me to be a lawyer or a doctor. Fortunately, lawyers and doctors make a lot of money, and so they buy art.
Yes.
Because they're frustrated. It makes me sad to think that there are so many frustrated doctors and lawyers out there who wanted to do that thing. But I think that the kids that I really admire are the ones that come to university, come to art school, get themselves enrolled, and no one has ever supported them, ever. They're the ones that, like, I come from an artistic family. We value what we do, all of us, we really do. But the kids who come through from, dad's a butcher, mum was a housewife, no one could draw, no one understands what I do, but I've just had to come to art school. Those kids I really admire because I go, you've got the drive and you've got the passion, and that's going to help you a long way to get that little bit further. If you really are driven, I hope the pathway's open for you. I hope the door's open and that you can get through and find them. Most schools have art programs. Most schools have an art teacher, but they've been cut and cut and cut. And actually the funding to universities have been cut as well in this country. So go to China and have a look at how they're nurtured and supported there. Have a look. When I go to Indonesia, one of the things that I found really interesting was by the time you get to art school, there are so few So, I mean, there's 250 million people, and there's like a couple of art schools. By the time you get to art school, you're already a rock star. You've already got collectors and a following. Everybody who's there is really good. And so you walk around the halls and see really good work by really good artists. And they're not being supported financially at all. They're selling their work if they can, they're working on the side, they're doing whatever else. They also tend to work in collectives. They all get together and everybody works. One person has a project, so you need someone to, you know, make the frames and do it. Everyone's working on that one project. One artist rises to prominence, and then they all go over here and another one rises. They all.
It's a very mature industry there.
That sort of collaborative thing. But then they come from a culture where the creative endeavours are highly valued, because maybe not contemporary art so much, but the dance forms, the batik, the carving, all that stuff is all deeply embedded in culture and respected. So, but I mean, there are people also who are very content to do, the same thing over and over again that makes them happy. That's good. That's great. Do that if that's what makes you happy. But if it doesn't, be brave.
Yes.
Get out there and do it.
Yeah, be brave is very important. Yeah, I think for Australia we have a very good welfare system, so make people can be brave. But
yes, we have a safety net here.
Yes. So even you are like maybe get something you love, but maybe you don't earn much money, but you still can survive. But some other countries you can't do that. So
it can be harder. It can be. When we don't have a safety net, that's right. We have the luxury in this country of a safety net, and that's fantastic. But I still say, if you want to do something that doesn't support you, find something to support it. Go and work in another area. A lot of artists work in coffee shops, at least until they're off the ground. Do the thing that you need to do to buy the best material to get to that level. It's not necessarily the easiest pathway, but it's the most, in the long run, probably rewarding.
Yeah, I think I also found if you have being an artist, if you have another job, can make you experience some real life in the society. Will give you some ideas. It
will, and it will also give you a business sense, because you have to be a businessman and a social media manager and everything else when you're with artists. You're your own little business. And you have to be able to do all of it. Yeah,
even I think for current industry and also for current development of the AI and the social media. So the generation, they explore too much, or they have to go inside this digital world. So this means they live for their loved thing, they also need to present themselves and to adapt to this digital world.
And to be able to make the decision and make an informed decision as to how I approach and engage with this world. I always start with this one little philosophy, and that is, no one says when they die, I wish I'd spent more time at the office. It's true, right?
Yeah.
We don't. It's not what we were built for. It's not what we were made for. Life is to live, and engaging with people and doing the things you love and learning, and those are the things that are important on the journey.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, especially for current people, they have too much more. I think that the current young students, they have much more things than what we were young.
Yeah.
So this make them, they need something to express themselves.
Yeah.
And they also need maybe someone, for the artists, they have some inspiration. When they have these things present to you, you may find a way you understand me. I know I'm not myself. So this kind of thing, I think, is very important.
I hope also that with the AI and everything, what it's doing is giving us back time, making free time so that we can do these things.
Yes.
That's what it's for. It's not meant to make more work, surely. I wish AI would sweep the floor and wash the dishes.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be.
Take the chores and things away,
Yeah.
So humans can do what humans really do well. The other thing I think that AI has done, which I think is fantastic, is it's suddenly shifted the way we value the handmade, because it can't do it.
Yeah.
Only we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, handmade is very important. Like you can feel that.
Yeah, the tactile and the experience and the pleasure in making, and then the pleasure and the beauty in the thing that's created. I think the value is coming up. Yeah. I used to work with the peak body for craft and design. And as soon as I saw AI, I immediately went, oh, this is going to change the way we appreciate all of this, the way, suddenly everyone's going to understand how important this is, and how it is very much, the act of making is human.
Yes.
Yeah. To make is to be human. Yeah, it's fantastic. So, I get very mad at AI because it gets things wrong. It's like an assistant that doesn't understand you.
Yeah, well, we just found, we currently use AI for some work, and we found they make so many mistakes. And then
it goes, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can say sorry to you and admit they have they lied to you.
Yes,
they admit that.
I sit there working with, bookkeeping is not my thing. My software going, what do you mean? I can see this is wrong. Oh, yes, sorry. Oh, no. It's not quite going to take over the world yet. One of the concerns that I have, though, is that children, I think, from too young, are spending too much time on the computer. And on the games and gaming like this, and not using. When you're young, you need to use all your senses. You need to experience everything with all your senses.
Yeah, give them.
Get outside.
Yes.
Get outside. Go and make a mess. Go and find bugs and do all that sort of stuff. The real world stuff, yeah. But they're all going to have terrible neck problems in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we have a major. It's only for the bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that major we try to promote to the students. Tell them this is a very good career. Have more demand in future.
Oh, in the future, absolutely. I can see it. I look at them and go, oh, your neck.
This part of the thing, I think the education system, I think they have aware of that. They're currently making some rules for laptop using in the school, but I think they need to do more.
They do. Yeah, they need to adjust, and they will. And that's again the creative mind, the creative endeavour, the getting ahead. Creativity is solving problems. First, you've got to see the problem, identify it, find it, fix it, change it, address it, ask it questions. Play with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. If next time if some students ask me about the art career way, I can tell them you can find a good way how to educate young kids.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
In creative art way.
Yeah.
It's a very good way, and also it's more more will be acceptable or desired way for us to educate young kids, not only the digital part.
I think so, because I think what artists try to keep throughout their lifetime is what children do naturally, and that's a sense of play. That sense of, it's a fearlessness and a sense of play that makes you good at that. It's that sort of, what happens if I do this, When you work with kids, when they make art, the things they make, the way they approach problem solving is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I still remembered when my girl is little, and I found the little kids, they love, in the kindy, they love play with water and sand and all these.
The tactile.
Yes, not those already in shape, but something not in shape. They can have more their ideas how to make
the
things.
sensory, and that is how they learn, and that's what we need to make sure that we retain that, so that they and artists do that too. Yeah, we are going to see, I'm 100% convinced that we're going to see a shift back to the value of the tactile, because we'll realise that we're losing it. But then only us creative people figure that out first. artist, what you're seeing around the walls here is work that covers 4 decades. So it's going back to the original pieces here are from 1980. All the watercolours are from 1989. And then these embroideries are from 2016. So the nice thing about the way they're all hung, I think, is that you can see the continuity in her sort of symbolism and mark making and her motifs throughout all this work. And this artist is 80 years old. So she's been working continuously in this way and very bravely, because these are very distinctly feminine works and feminist works. And I think that was something that was very, very difficult to do and be in Queensland at that time. She came from country Queensland, she came from Caloundra. And so you see all this sort of very, clearly, like the genitals are displayed in here, or the gender. You can see this is a man, this is a woman, but the gender itself is really clearly displayed because it's important. It makes a difference to her life and to his life. And those sorts of things, they're very personal things that are stated all the way through. Embroidery, these frames are very, very old. So they talk about sort of, they're from 1800s, the frames. And the works and the style reflects that, but yet they're very, very contemporary motifs. And this idea of a woman's tear falling into a pond surrounded by kind of Victorian style flowers and everything, very feminine. Very distinctly female motifs and works. Same with here, the pansies and the violets. A lot of the work that was done by women was not valued in the same way as the work that was done by men. A lot of the things that ended up in these frames talk about the domestic. All the subjects and subject matter are about the domestic in her work. So this is only just a fragment of her work when you think about the 80 years of it. One thing she does a lot of, and one thing she was criticised over, was this use of red. And that's why these red velvet curtains are hanging down the back wall, because it was a symbol for a woman. The symbol is like menstrual blood, but it's also passion, which women were never, in her generation, allowed to have or demonstrate. So, yeah.
Great, thank you.